Welcome back, soap lovers. Today's Days of Our Lives update dives into revenge, betrayal, and one shocking twist that could change everything. Kristen DiMera is furious. Xander has crossed a line. And Sarah? She could be caught in the crossfire. Let's break down all the latest reveals, and ask the big question, is Kristen about to use Sarah's health as leverage? There was a time, just months ago, when Sarah Horton Kuriakis couldn't walk. Her world had shifted overnight, her independence stripped away. And for Xander, watching the woman he loved suffer was unbearable. Desperation forced their hand. Enter Kristen, with an offer as dangerous as it was tempting. A cutting-edge serum, developed by the infamous Dr. Wilhelm Rolf. A possible cure for Sarah's paralysis. But there was a catch. Kristen didn't want money. She didn't want praise. She wanted Titan, the crown jewel of the Kuriakis empire. A legacy built by Victor Kuriakis with blood, sweat, and shrewd business instincts. Trading it away would be an unforgivable betrayal to the family name. Xander was caught in a brutal dilemma: save the company or save his wife. Then, in a move no one expected, Brady Black stepped in. Knowing the serum's potential, and the moral weight of the situation, he pressured Kristen to do the right thing. To give Sarah the cure without demanding a ransom. Surprisingly, Kristen agreed. Reluctantly. Begrudgingly. But not because she suddenly became selfless. She did it for Brady. To prove she still had a shred of decency. And deep down, she hoped the gesture would not be forgotten. But it was, quickly. And that's where everything started to unravel. The serum worked. Almost miraculously, Sarah began to recover. She stood. She walked. She laughed. She held her baby in her arms again. She returned to the hospital, saving lives with the same fire she once feared was gone forever. To everyone else, it was a medical miracle. But to Kristen, it was leverage. She had played savior, expecting loyalty, maybe even gratitude. What she got in return felt like a slap in the face. Because while Kristen was still keeping her distance, still reeling from the emotional risks she took, Xander was already plotting behind her back. When E.J. DiMera slipped into a medically induced coma after being shot, the timing couldn't have been more perfect, for Xander and Philip Kuriakis. They struck fast. Quietly, ruthlessly. With the help of Mr. Wei Shin, they orchestrated a power grab, transferring control of DiMera Enterprises to Titan in one swift move. A move Kristen never saw coming. They didn't just sideline her. They humiliated her. They took everything while she watched from the shadows, seething. And now? Kristen DiMera is done being underestimated. She's done being the so-called hero. The serum she once offered out of forced generosity? It might now become her deadliest weapon. Let's go back to where it all started unraveling. EJ was in a coma. The leadership vacuum at DiMera Enterprises left the board scrambling, the company wide open to attack. Enter Xander and Philip. They didn't act out of impulse. This was premeditated, strategic, cold. With Titan hungry for expansion and DiMera momentarily weakened, they struck like vultures circling a wounded animal. But they didn't do it alone. They courted Mr. Wei Shin, an influential player with long-standing ties to DiMera, and convinced him it was time for a change. Behind closed doors, over quiet meetings and sealed documents, the takeover was sealed. Just like that, the power shifted. And what did Xander and Philip do next? They celebrated. Boldly. Publicly. They marched their victory straight to Gabby, expecting resistance, but finding something entirely different. Gabby has never been Kristen's fan. Their history is messy, explosive. But Gabby's not driven by emotion, she's driven by control. And now that her brand operates under Titan's growing shadow, she's got choices to make. And if aligning with Kristen helps her tighten her grip on her company? If it humiliates Xander, weakens Philip, and tips the balance of power in her favor? Then Gabby might just do the unthinkable, extend a hand to her rival. Because in Salem, revenge makes strange allies. Eventually, Kristen confronts Xander face to face. It's not a quiet conversation. There's no pretense, just raw fury cloaked in ice-cold calm. She reminds him, point blank, what she sacrificed. How she could have demanded Titan in exchange for the serum, but chose not to. She brings up Sarah's recovery, her new lease on life, and how none of it would have happened without her. "You owe me," she says. Xander? Unmoved. He leans back, arms crossed, his voice measured. "It was never personal, Kristen. It's just business." But Kristen's eyes harden. Her voice drops to a venomous whisper. "That's where you're wrong," she says. "With me? It's always personal. This wasn't just about losing a boardroom battle." 16. This was about betrayal, about being played for a fool by the very people she showed mercy to. Kristen DiMera doesn't forgive easily. She doesn't forget. And when she's backed into a corner, she doesn't retreat, she strikes. Xander may think he's won, but what he's really done is poke the bear. And Kristen? She's not just angry. She's calculating her next move. Now the story turns from business to something far more personal, and far more dangerous. Kristen DiMera still has one last move on the board. His name? Dr. Wilhelm Rolf, the eccentric genius who created the original serum that gave Sarah her mobility back. But here's the terrifying part: if he could create it, there's every possibility he can undo it. Reversing the cure. Quietly, chemically, devastatingly. Kristen has the access. She has the relationship. And now? She has the motive. This isn't just speculation anymore. It's a real, looming threat. A warning cloaked in science. She's been betrayed, humiliated, cut out of a legacy she once had her hands on. And while Xander may think he outmaneuvered her at the corporate table, Kristen doesn't fight fair. She never has. So imagine this. Sarah wakes up one morning. She goes to stand, only to collapse. No warning, no explanation, just terror. The return of the paralysis she thought she'd conquered. The end of her recovery. Her life, reversed. And as the doctors scramble, and Xander tries to make sense of the nightmare, they trace the cause back to one source. Kristen. But she won't leave a trail of fingerprints. No public threats. Just quiet, devastating revenge. The kind that leaves Xander hollowed out, not just defeated, but punished. Kristen won't just strike at his pride. She'll crush the one thing he's always fought to protect, Sarah. And as the fallout begins, the lines in Salem start to blur. This isn't just a personal vendetta anymore, it's a power struggle that threatens to divide families, destroy alliances, and ignite old rivalries. Brady once held Kristen back. He appealed to the last bit of her conscience, convinced her to be generous, to do the right thing for Sarah. But now, even Brady may not be able to stop her descent into vengeance. Gabby, ever the opportunist, is watching the chaos unfold, and seeing an opening. Aligning with Kristen could protect her interests under Titan's umbrella. Their history may be rocky, but in this town, enemies become allies when there's enough power on the table. Philip Kyriakis could start to rethink his alliance with Xander. If Kristen's wrath begins threatening Titan's image, or his own safety, he might flip sides to save himself. And Sarah, the woman at the center of it all, is trapped. She's grateful to Kristen for the serum that changed her life. But if that gift turns into a curse? If her body begins to fail again, and the people she trusted are revealed to be playing a much larger game? She'll be caught between loyalty and betrayal, love and survival. Every move from this point forward is a gamble. Every alliance? A risk. And no one, not even Kristen, knows exactly who'll be standing when the dust settles. Kristen DiMera has returned, and this time, there's no mask of redemption, no illusion of goodwill. She's not here to play the savior. She's here to settle scores. She gave Sarah a miracle. She expected loyalty. What she got instead was betrayal, and now, she's rewriting the rules. So the questions hang in the air like storm clouds. Will Kristen truly go as far as sabotaging Sarah's health to punish Xander? Would she weaponize a cure, and turn it back into a curse? And if she does, how will Xander respond? Will guilt tear him apart? Or will he double down, dragging Titan even deeper into enemy territory? And what about Titan itself? The company that once symbolized legacy and power now risks becoming a battlefield. With deals made in the dark and alliances shifting by the hour, this power grab could unravel everything: reputation, relationships, and futures. One misstep, and it could all come crashing down. Because in Salem, nothing comes free. Kindness is currency, loyalty is fragile, and favors? They always come with an expiration date. So, what's next? Will Gabby and Kristen form a shocking alliance? Will Philip switch sides to save his own skin? And will Sarah discover that the very thing that saved her might now be the thing that destroys her? The stakes have never been higher. So don't miss a second of it. Subscribe now, drop your theories in the comments, and let's unravel this storm together. Because in days of our lives, even miracles have consequences, and every act of mercy can become a weapon.